Hey guys, Isaac M. Finger here again. Today I'm talking about gambler lures, um, and specifically I'm going to talk about the sweebo worm. This one's in green pumpkin candy. Uh, there's multiple things that I love about gambler lures. Um, their plastics are very soft, so you have a lot of action under the water. But at the same time, their plastics are very tough, so they don't tear up as easily as some other plastics on the market. Um, Another thing is they're enhanced with Gambler Bite, which is a scent that Gambler specifically designed to make those bass bite and hold on longer. And it's kind of kind of has a garlicky, peppery smell to it, with I believe a slight hint of anise at the end, so it has that real light black licorice kind of a smell at the end of it. But here's the worm. As you can see, it's a sweebo worm. They're flat bottom. Then they got that bulb on each end, and then a bulb right there in the middle. Um, the green pumpkin candy is one of my favorite colors. It's your normal green pumpkin color, and then it has black, purple, and green flake in it. I'm going to talk about a few different ways to rig this up that I like to rig it. Some people like to rig it differently, and it's all personal preference on how you rig something. But these are just going to be a few different ways that I'm planning on rigging it for the next tournament that I'm going to fish. So let's just dive into it and see where we go from there. First way I'm going to rig it, I'm going to do a flat bottom. It's going to be more of a finesse presentation. This is a 3/8 ounce shaky head in pumpkin green. And the way that's going to look and work is you thread it on to the soft plastic keeper, that spring keeper that's on pretty much all hook heads like this, or I should say hooks like this. Thread it on there, and I like to get that flat part of the sweebo worms to be parallel with the hook, and then measure it up to your bend, hook it in there, and make sure if the hook does come out the other side that it's more of a flat presentation. You can see it goes flat. Skin hook it just a little bit, and what this will do is it'll sink down to the bottom, and because it has that flat head, it'll balance on the bottom, and your worm will stick up in the air, or in the water, but it'll stick up, and you'll have that action every time you twitch it and hop it across the bottom. So that's one of the ways I'm going to rig it. And another way I'm going to rig it, let me pull it off of this keeper real quick. Try not to hook myself in the hand. Another way I'm going to rig it is I'm probably going to take 6/0 worm hook, bent shank. It's not an extra wide gap. You don't need an extra wide gap for this particular style worm because they're not real thick. Bring it in to the tip of the head, hook it back out, down and around, and you want it to be the same way that I showed you before. That flat part on this worm is going towards the shank of the hook right now, and then you measure out how it needs to be flat, hook it up in there. And some people just like to go into the worm, but I actually like to go back out the other side, and I just feel like I get better hook penetration whenever the fish bites if I go back out the other side and then skin hook it. That way when that fish bites, it'll push that worm down and you got way more hook coming out. That's just a Texas rig, but I figured I'd show it either way. I'm gonna Texas rig it. I might do a weight. I'm probably gonna start weightless and then move up from there depending on the depth of the fish. And the last but not the least way that I'm going to do it is probably a drop shot. And I'm going to use these Gamakatsu octopus style hook. See if you can see that at all. And the way I'm going to do that is measure where I need to be on the worm and probably just skin hook it, or not skin hook it, but lightly hook it, not a real deep in there. And what that'll do is it'll look like that. And of course, you tie your knot, bring your tag end back through instead of cutting it off, bring it back through. And what I like to use whenever I'm drop shotting is just a normal ball style weight. That way, and I just crimp it onto the end of my tag end, and that way if you get hung up, your weight gets hung up in the bottom, hung up in grass or rock or whatever, which typically the lakes that I fish, it's going to get hung up in between rock. You're not going to lose your whole setup. That ball weight that crimped onto your line is just going to pull off. So you're going to lose the weight, but you're not going to lose your worm and your hook and everything else. So that's the way that I usually set up a drop shot. And you want to do it, I like to skin hook. I'll come through just barely, skin hook it, and in the water column it's going to do that. And you're going to have a lot of movement every time you lift it and drop it. It's going to and have a lot of action. You can see these worms, they're real soft, and they have a whole lot of action and quite a fair play of stretch for a soft plastic. So they're very durable, have that exclusive scent that Gambler came out with, and they hold in your hooks very well, and fish just love them. So go check out Gambler Lures on Facebook, Instagram, and I guarantee that you will catch some fish with their lures. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want to see next, and I'm out of here for today.